What's up, people of YouTube? I'm Karsatowski and welcome to the Karsatowski Creatures YouTube channel. So today's video is a video that I would have never imagined that I would have to make, especially this soon in life. So whatever it is that you do, whatever hobbies you have or whatever careers you have, you always have a certain amount of people that you look up to or who are just trailblazers in that specific area. And for the area of animals, which is what this YouTube channel is about, recently we just lost a trailblazer in our community. And I'm talking about one of the great YouTubers of our time, Barczyk. So if any of you are new to this channel or who have watched a lot of animal content in the past, you probably don't even need an introduction to Barczyk because his presence on YouTube and on social media in the animal community is so vast. But for those of you who just watch my channel because you have relation to me, or you've just been watching me for a long time and might not watch a lot of animal content, I'm going to explain on who Barczyk was and his presence among the whole community. So Barczyk is a man who, he's really just an ordinary guy who has this passion for animals. He started breeding snakes when he was, I believe, 16, 17 years old, something crazy. And he actually ended up making a ton of money with it just by breeding them within his first couple years. So he began breeding for a long time, and eventually, over time, he wanted to create an experience where people can actually interact with snakes and other reptiles, to get people to like them and enjoy them, and to ultimately get people to not be afraid of snakes anymore. So quite a few years ago now, he made plans to create this reptile zoo located in Utica, Michigan. And long story short, he ended up making that zoo. And since then, he has basically made it a worldwide attraction. A bunch of people come over there and take tours, and it's just an amazing place. I've seen many YouTube videos about it, and it's one of my places that I would love to go in my life. And I actually found Barczyk late 2019 or early 2020, and during that time the reptarium itself was pretty small. Like, they called it the 1.0 during that time, and then eventually they bought a second part of the strip mall that they converted into and made it 2.0. So I joined right when they were making plans for 2.0, and I got to see the entire building process. So they actually ended up getting completely finished with 2.0 in early March of 2020, and I really wanted to go to that. But unfortunately, COVID hit right around that time, and my plans of even thinking about going to it were pretty much canceled. But 2.0 ended up being a massive success. They still have private tours to this day, and they even do virtual tours. And it's just exploded into this big thing. People all over the country and all over the world come over to see this place. And over the last couple years, there was another place that was across the street from the reptarium, and it was being sold. So Brian bought that place, and he decided to make it into an aquarium. And that's what they've been building on over the last few years. But unfortunately, early in 2023, this past year, Brian got the unfortunate diagnosis that he had very severe pancreatic cancer, I believe it was. And he's been battling with it over the entirety of 2023. But one thing that I admire about Brian is that he didn't just stay at home, even through all the pain and suffering that he was going through, getting diagnosis from doctors telling him that there was a very slim chance that he would make it through this, but he still kept fighting. He would still go to work every day as long as he possibly could to see the legacy grow and to also manage his other place, Reptarium. He uploaded videos pretty much every single day in 2023, and he pretty much had vlogs going on his channel every day for about 5 years. So that just comes to show you Brian's passion for his thing that he's been going after all this time, his passion for animals. And his health really started to decline about late December, early January. I remember seeing a post from him on January 1st. I was actually at a bowling tournament that day. Well, no, it was December 31st. It was December 31st. I remember that we were in a break over in our bowling tournament, and I looked on Instagram, and he had a video that he posted saying Happy New Year, everybody, and saying his current condition. He just looked pretty rough, and wishing everybody Happy New Year. And he had a couple strokes that day, and he didn't think he had much time left. And I just froze, and I realized, out of all of those months of just fighting, that I think that he knew that it was just going to be over. And I thought that he would make it through this. I thought, and I think everybody else thought, that he was going to make it through this. And then 2 weeks later, on January the 14th, actually it was January the 15th, Monday, January the 15th, it was announced that Brian had unfortunately lost his battle with cancer. And Brian really wasn't a guy who I grew up with. I mean, he was just some guy who really loved animals that I found on YouTube 4 years ago. And over time, he really grew on me, and he really gave me the passion to be able to have a channel like this. I don't think I will ever have the kind of animals that he's had over his years, or even be into animals as much as he has, because of all of the other things that I do in my life. I just can't really commit that much time to it. But he's really shown me the love for animals like really nobody else has shown. I mean, Steve Irwin and Jeff Corwin have been people I've looked up to over the years, and as well as Jack Hanna, and I've never got to meet any of them. And I really wanted to meet Brian at the opening of the Legacy sometime later this year, but unfortunately he won't be able to be there. The only animal enthusiast that I've really gotten to meet in person thus far in my short time here on YouTube has been Coyote Peterson. I was fortunate enough to meet him and make a video about him in my very first year of YouTube, and I'm hoping that he's not the last one I'm going to meet, because I got to meet him eventually to show my appreciation for them and inspiring me for what I do. But Brian, he was the biggest out of all of us. Out of everybody on YouTube who owns animals and reptiles, he was the biggest one. He had the best place to keep animals as far as reptiles go on the earth, and in the United States anyway. And his aquarium, I know, is going to be great. I would love to go there on opening day. I'm not sure if I would ever be able to or not to go on opening day. I'd have to see what my schedule is and if any of my family wants to go or any close friends, but I would definitely love to go there someday and just see it. I've been watching many videos about it, of it being built, and I can't wait to see it. And even though Brian will not be there, his legacy will still live on. So to kind of close out this video, I'm going to read to you an Instagram post on the day that Brian passed. And I think this really sums up his legacy and his mission for all animal lovers around the world. On behalf of the Barczyk family and our entire team at the Reptarium, it is with profound sorrow that we announce the passing of our beloved Brian Barczyk. More than the guiding light of our organization, Brian's fervent passion for reptiles and wildlife, along with his steadfast dedication to education, has touched innumerable hearts and minds globally. Our deepest sympathies are with Brian's family, his friends, and all those whose lives he has ever touched. We've lost an exceptional individual, a visionary, mentor, and friend. For those of us who had the privilege of working alongside him, Brian's absence leaves an immeasurable void. As we navigate this difficult time, we find comfort in the memories and the lasting light of Brian's work. He will be deeply missed, but indeed, never forgotten. So, thank you, Brian Barczyk, for all that you've done, and eventually one of these days, hopefully on opening day of the Legacy Aquarium, I will be there to show my respect. So, I'm Karsatowski, and keep watching my content, and I will see you again in the next video. See ya. And thank you, Brian Barczyk, for everything.